Quality of beach sand is not the only consideration. Wash sand is also laid onto the floor of newly dug lagoons.
One of the problems that we have is this natural bed here is actually, in many places, quite silty. And we can't allow that silt to migrate into the watercourse because it'll just become cloudy and not very attractive. So what we actually do is over-dig the channel by about 20 centimetres and then cap it with clean sand, and that actually then protects that silt from getting into the watercourse.
Each new stretch of beach has stone groins built across it as barriers to prevent the energy of the waves moving the sand around.
We design the groins differently internal than we do external. The internal beaches are meant to be stable. The promontory beaches here, which are exposed to the more open sea wave, they're designed to move with the storms as they change direction and evolve over time to become natural beaches rather than a more straight sort of man-made beach.
Chris Rose and Jamie Holmes are checking the beach profile on the most exposed part of the project.
The groins are performing well.
Yeah, as you can see, they're doing a good job of containing the material. It's not passaging around this groin here. Looking back over our surveys, there's been some reorientation of the beach, and you can see that it's become quite embayed.
Quite natural though, isn't it? It's quite a naturalised shape.
Yeah, it's working well, and there's certainly no threat to the properties behind us.
Once the beaches have been meticulously formed, the water can be let in, as it has already been in phases A1 and A2. With flushing so important to the success of the project, an intense series of water quality tests is carried out in the waterways by the on-site team. Their results are then independently analysed by KISIR.
We conduct tests daily around the project at 14 locations. And it demonstrates to us that the project is exceeding our expectations in terms of water quality.
They take water and sand samples from the shoreline, starting under the water and below the low tide mark. Further samples come from the beach to check that the condition is stable. All the samples are then taken back to an on-site laboratory for analysis.
When we take the sample, the first key test is a visual one. If we're seeing black sand within the sample, that means that it is anaerobic. There is a lack of oxygen within the sand. Next, we take it to the laboratory where we do grain size distribution analysis. And we're looking to see whether or not the original sand we laid on the beach has developed more fine-grained materials from the air, for example. And the important thing there is that it potentially limits the oxygen available to habitats within the sand.
The testing has shown that the water quality is impressive. But the real proof of the quality of the newly created habitat is the number of creatures living in it. The lagoon network was designed to provide varied marine environments. Gaps create protected shelters for marine species.
It'll be used like a little nursery ground, and that'll be the commencement of the environment with this area. You'll then have the predator fish swimming around you looking for something to eat, but again with this protection area for these marine species.
Marine biologist David Jones monitors the wildlife surveys to understand if the idea of a construction project actually creating environments is really possible.
We now have 800 species living in that area, which just shows how the water quality has improved. So this has been a very successful experiment. I mean, nobody's ever tried this in the world.
800 species already living in what was recently a desolate salt marsh is the culmination of years of planning, hard work, and hope.
We were fairly sure that nature would welcome and take up this area, but we never had that confidence. And what's actually been amazing is the fact that we've gone from 0 species to 800 marine species in a very short period of time. It's thriving, it's living.
But the pressure is on. The gates, the bridge, the sand washing, the continuing digging, draining and compaction around the site. It all adds up to constant rounds of meetings and site inspections. Time won't wait.